So you haven't made any sales in a while and you're reconsidering your career, okay? I've been there, I've done that, and I've been in my really slow months where I'm like, is sales even for me? And I'm scared for my life because my paycheck depends on my sales, right? So when I'm not making any sales, my negative thoughts start to consume me. Well, if that sounds like you, stay tuned because I'm going to be telling you 3 ways you can stay motivated in sales when your sales are low. My name is Hillary Camacho, and I've been doing insurance sales for over 8 years now. I have a lot of experience. I make over 6 figures a year, and I'm really good at what I do. But I also have my bad months. But this is how I push through, and this is how I continue making my sales without letting those negative thoughts get to me. The number one thing you have to remember when you're not making any sales is that sales is a numbers game. I know you're tired of hearing that, but it is a numbers game. So if you're good at sales and you're doing the activity on the back end, and by activity, I mean that you're making the phone calls, you're sending the texts, you're sending the emails, you're leaving the voicemails, you're doing all that on the back end, you're telemarketing the hell out of yourself. And if you're good at sales, you're going to close at a high percentage and you're going to get a lot of sales. So it takes like X amount of quotes to make X amount of sales to make X amount of money. That's how the formula works. But let's say you're not so good at sales yet. You need to make double the phone calls, double the activity, and work your ass off. That's what you have to do in order to close more sales. Once you figure out that sales is a numbers game, you can directly control your sales depending on how much work you put into it. So if you haven't been making sales, it's probably because your activity has been low, right? So have you been counting and have you been keeping track of how many phone calls you're making, how many voicemails you're making, your talk time, how many hours you've been on the phone? Do you know exactly how many texts you send per week? Do you know how many emails you've been sending or responding to? How many real quotes you're doing per day? You need to have all this written down. If you want to get serious about your sales, you have to get serious about your activity. You want to calculate and you want to keep track of all the amount of activity you're doing on the back end and double that. And that should be your daily goal. You should have a goal of, instead of how many sales I'm going to make, don't have a goal of how many sales you're going to make that day. Have a goal of how many quotes am I going to get in today. Have a goal of the calls you're going to make that day. Things that you can't control, you should have a goal of on that day. So don't focus too much on your sales right now because they're low and it's going to get to you. Focus on what you can do, which is the phone calls, the voicemails, the telemarketing, all that you can directly influence. And it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay motivated whenever your sales are low and you're burnt out, but you have to remember your goals. That's my tip number 2. Remember your goals and write down what you want to accomplish this year, and also break down your goals into months. So what I do a lot is that I remind myself that I want to make this money because I have goals for my future. I want to get another car, I want to make upgrades on my house. Before it was I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to get a new car. Now that I have that, I want to keep going and do more and more and more. So my goals never stop. And you have to remind yourself of your goals every single day. And if you have kids, if you have a family to feed, that should be even more motivation for you to continue working and continue putting in those hours and continue giving it your all, because if you don't do it, nobody else will do it for you. That's the reality of sales. We're all in there. We're trying to make as much money as we can. I mean, nobody's kind of on our back pushing us. We have to push ourselves. At least that's how it is in my office. You put in the work and you see the results. It's really important that you remember what you're doing this for. And it's really important to remember that in sales, you can make a lot of money. and you can make a good living. And that's a privilege to have, because not many people can do that. A lot of people work hourly shifts. They don't have the opportunity to grow. With us, it's different. The more sales that we make, the more commission we get, and the more money we get, the more things we can do with our money. For this last tip, I was debating whether I should put it in this video or not. I have to say this, what really helps me, the only thing that helps me actually when I'm really feeling down and I'm burnt out, I can't go another day, I don't want to go to work, or I just feel down because I haven't made any sales and I don't know what's wrong with me, and I don't know what's wrong with the market, and I'm questioning whether I'm going to make it this month or not. And the only thing that helps me truly is praying to God. I have to pray every single morning to get my mind right. And I have to pray not for a sale. Essentially, I don't pray for like sales, or I don't pray to get things out of God. I pray for Him to give me patience, to give me strength. I pray that I find a way to make it work. I find a way to remain calm throughout the day. I just pray for gratitude. I show a lot of gratitude already for the job that I have, for the sales that I have made and the sales that are coming, for my car, how I got there to work, that I got there safe, that I ate breakfast. There's so many things that I'm already grateful for, and I put myself in a state of gratitude every single morning. I'm grateful for my coworkers, I'm grateful for my boss, for a lot of things that I have, and that in itself makes me feel like I'm in a state of abundance. And the more abundance that I feel, the more that it comes to me. I don't want to say that it's a flow of energy, but I feel like it is. I feel like it is when I'm connected to God, and when I pray to God and I ask Him to help me get through the day, help me get through this month. God, I know we can do this together. Like, He's literally with me on my shoulder like throughout the whole day, and I'm talking to God. I have this book where it goes based off emotions. Depending what emotion I'm feeling, I can open up that section and read it, and it has a scripture and it has a description and a prayer. So I have that little book, and I can link it down below if you want to get it. I bought it at Food Town, like a grocery store, but you can get it off Amazon. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I forget to pray and I forget to enter into that state of gratitude, and I start feeling salty about my sales being low, and I start feeling all these negative emotions, and then I catch myself and I'm like, wait a minute, let me spend some time with God, because that's the only thing that can reset me and that can put me in this positive mentality that can help me make more sales, and it's going to translate into making more money. So whenever you pray and whenever you ask God for beautiful things in your life that you want to achieve, I feel like He will respond and He will show you a way to make that happen. And I'm not the most religious person out there. Trust me, I'm like a baby believer, and I'm not really like religious like that. I don't go to church, and I'm trying to get into it. I think I'm leaning more towards the Catholic, maybe Christian side. That's my belief, but I know that there's a God out there and that He works miracles in my life. So that's my journey with God, and I'm not perfect. I know I sin, and I I'm nowhere near a perfect Christian or like a perfect believer. And there's nothing like that out there. First of all, I know that in sales, I use my faith to make it work. It also translates into my customers too. Like, the more I help customers, the more they refer me people, and the more I sell them, because I don't know, that's how business works. Like, if you're nice to them, if you help them, you truly want to help them, you're not just there to make fast money or to get it over with. You truly care about them, you listen to them, and you want to help them. They end up referring you people, and you get more business. Same with your coworkers. If you help your coworkers out in the future, you never know, they might do something nice for you too. And I don't do it to get something in return. No, I just do it because that's how God blesses me in my life. Whenever I spend time with God, He puts me in a position where I just feel so blessed that I want to share that with the world. And it's a really beautiful feeling. If you know, you know. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you, that's my tip number 3. You have to pray to God and spend time with God. You can't do it by yourself. At least I can't. A quick recap of my tips. Number 1 is remember that sales is a numbers game and you have to keep your activity high so your sales can be high as well. Tip number 2 is remember your goals, remember why you're doing this, and write down your goals, break them down into monthly achievable goals, keep them in your mind, and remember that you have things to do and you have things to achieve. Tip number 3 is pray to God. That's the most important tip. Keep God in your life at all times and He will bless you. So those were my tips for this video. I really hope that helped you in some way, and I really hope that motivates you to stay positive and keep going in sales, because sales is a really, really good job to be in, especially now in 2025. You want to be in sales and making money. And that concludes the video for today. Please like, subscribe, and comment which tip you think resonated with you the most. Which one is more achievable, which one isn't achievable for you? Let me know below in the comments. Thank you, and bye-bye.